Hello and welcome to your in-depth horoscope forecast for September. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. That means every time I release a video, you'll get an alert. Now also, if you'd like to ascend above Zodiac sign astrology and embrace natal astrology based on your time, date and place of birth, please check out my special offer of a 12-month forecast and a character analysis and get 30% off. Please see the link beneath this video for more information. Hello Cancer and welcome to your in-depth forecast for September. Now this month begins with the Sun in the sparkling third house. This is where you can exchange your ideas, this is where you can think, and also it can give you a desire to be a bit more active physically. And one of the reasons for that is Mars, the planet of passion, is in this sector as the month begins. But the critical thing at the very start of this month is that the Sun is forging a very enabling angle to Uranus, and Mars is forging a very enabling angle to Pluto. Now let's take the first one. The Sun is very much about our innate energy, and in the third house that can mean a lot of increased frequency of interactions with others. So don't be surprised if there is, lots of text messages and emails going backwards and forwards, or you're having a desire to communicate with others. The third house is about everyday communication. But the Sun in the sign of Virgo is also about health, fitness and purity. So you could be thinking about those areas too. But the angle in the first 10 days with Uranus is in your sector of the future. And over the last few years, it's been pushing you to review some of your longer term plans. There may have been some objectives that you achieved that actually lost their luster because Uranus is shaking things up. It's making it fresher, revitalizing you, and that's making you more inquisitive but potentially more rebellious. So in your 11th house it can pull you towards more unusual types of people. So conversations around your future, the third house, the conversation, the thoughts, the 11th house, how you interact with others, particularly friends, but very much about that future hopes you have. I feel that there can be a lot of excitement generated in the first third of this month. And part of the reason for that is there is a new moon on the 7th, which is also going to be embracing this very refreshing, vibrant, zesty Uranus energy. But Mars is the planet of instant gratifications. It's a bit blunter and it's more physical. So in your third house, it could see you wanting to be more physically active too. But it's also about passion, of course, and its link with Pluto for the first 10 days in your sector of relating suggests that you could find yourself really excited about a person or a group of people that are presenting ideas or energy or even a romantic opportunity for you, and that could draw you towards them. But there is a paradox as well, because Venus and Mercury, the planets of relating, are in your 4th house, very much to do with where you live, how you live there and who with. So you could also be doing quite a lot of changes to your home environment. Now that may be some decorative ones. If you're in the northern hemisphere, there may still be some things that you're doing with your outdoor space that can bring a lot of joy. And Venus is also about money, and it's forging a superlink with Saturn, the planet of stability, across the 3rd to the 7th in your sector of longer term finances. So there may be something about a home matter that's really developing in a very helpful way. But equally, Venus squares with Pluto across the same group of days. And there may be someone that you're drawn to, but I think the thing that's going to inform your decision about this situation is whether it feels right. Now that's natural for you, being governed by the moon. You're a very intuitive person. But there may be someone who just seems almost too good to be true, or an opportunity you really want to explore. It may even be around where you live. But check this out very carefully, because there could be some kind of hidden issue that's not entirely obvious to begin with, because Pluto can often be about surprises. Now, I've told you about that glorious new moon on the 7th, but also on the 8th, Venus, the planet of love and affection, moves into your sister water sign of Scorpio. Now, for you, this is glorious. The 5th house is very much about where we show affection, warmth, where we can really resonate with others in a very beautiful way. So if you have children, for example, their creative ambitions can be something that excites you. If you're somebody who does want to be more sociable, this is a very good change for you. Now, in week 3, not only does the Sun replace Mars in a wonderful trine to Pluto, suggesting your conversation or your connection to a particular person could be getting stronger, and there's some kind of transformation going on in your thinking or this relationship. And that can also see Venus in an opposition with Uranus, making something happen that's quite unexpected. And it may be that you're going to have a connection with someone that you're not expecting, and you could have a chance to make almost a snap decision about what to do. But there can be some real electricity and magnetism around this situation. Could be a new friend, could be someone that really attracts you romantically, but it can create some real upbeat and some excitement, which is absolutely fabulous. Now, it is true to say that on the 15th, Mars moves into that 4th house as well. So Mars, of course, gets things done because it's about our innate drive and passion, and it can be more physical. The 4th house is about those emotions. So it's just saying to you, through to the end of October, there may be times when you can move mountains with your bare hands in terms of where you live, but equally it's going to be important not to be defensive or prickly around your emotional responses. People with Mars in Cancer can have that tendency. So Mars in the 4th house has that kind of energy, but it can be very positive too. So if you are wanting to physically alter your environment, the next 6 weeks is going to be a critical phase for you. Now, the 19th sees Mercury go into shadow. This is where Mercury slows down. It's not in retrograde yet, but it's starting to move across the degrees in the heavens of where the retrograde will get to in October. And therefore, I think if you are discussing anything about a home issue, don't feel that just because the retrograde is coming on the 27th that it means that something will get snagged. Remember, Mercury retrograde can be an opportunity to revisit, repair, rekindle something that you want to achieve, but it may mean that there's going to be some cross wires. You're going to need to be persistent and going to need to watch the details. All the things that are always important with Mercury retrograde are going to come to the fore in the latter part of this month, particularly in close relationships, because Mercury broadly squares up with Pluto. Now, one of the things that Mercury in any kind of relationship with Pluto can promote is conviction. Conviction's a great thing to have for us all, but dogmatism is less attractive. And you may encounter someone who sees something very differently to you, and that can create a little bit of tension. However, on the 20th, there is a full moon, and this full moon goes across your sector of everyday ideas against your sector of philosophy, where the full moon itself occurs in the 9th house. And if you are trying to change some element of your situation, there may be someone who's resistant to that. They want to keep the status quo exactly as it is. And it's going to take patience, particularly with Mars in this part of your horoscope, to deal with this situation. But the 22nd is a really critical day of the month, because then we have the autumn equinox. The 3rd cardinal quadrant of the year begins, and that means we have an Earth point at 0 degrees Libra. Now, Libra obviously is very much about balance, and you have the in-shadow Mercury there, you have the impatient Mars there, which is not at its best in Libra, but that balance that Libra asks us to seek out can be good for you about your foundation in life, that sense of security, which is a very fundamental part of your nature. It can be physical in terms of where you live. It can be more spiritual in terms of your relationship with your inner self. However, the sun starting its journey through this part of your situation triggers a 13-week period, the third quadrant of the year. And for you, just making sure that you get all your bases covered, that will enable you, once the sun moves into Scorpio next month, to start to flourish in a more exciting and outgoing way. Now, I've already told you about Venus going into that opposition with Uranus in week 3. Really can create some electricity and spark. If you are in a romantic relationship which has become a little bit samey or predictable, one of the mistakes we can all make is feeling that the other person should always change in order to make our situation more exciting. But you also need to take the initiative to try to switch things up during this period. But on the 27th, Mercury does go retrograde, and as I said before, it is squaring with Pluto. So being very careful with communication, especially around family matters, is going to be critical as this month draws to a close. But you can see with the sun sparkling with Uranus, Mars with Pluto, and then the sun with Pluto, there's an awesome opportunity for transformation this month. And it really can be about your future and around some key relationships or where you live.